Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you joined me today. I'm Dr. Gina Anderson, and I am here with my I Love Learning podcast. And this season is the season of the power of small. And those of you that know me and know Luma, know Widget, and we all know that small is mighty. And that is the theme of this year because it's the small moments in our lives that can have and make the biggest difference. And I'm so excited today because I have a very special guest for you to meet. Her name is Melissa Cohen. And oh my goodness, she is the founder and she can actually help you with your personal brand in your strategic positioning that builds authority. She is an Amazon bestseller, and her cover of her book with her heart and just it's so beautiful, and I cannot wait for her. You guys all know, I like hearts, so it's so incredible to have Melissa here with us today. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so incredibly honored to have you on my podcast because, like I said, this season is the power of small, and thank you so much. And I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell us about the hearts on the book. I mean, that is really cool.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me, Gina. I am really thrilled to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you. I am indeed a personal branding and LinkedIn strategist, but I also love a good book. And I had the pleasure of co-authoring a book that came out last month in December, and it is called Letters to Lily.
Oh, I love
Lily
that.
Lily is an acronym. So Lily is an acronym for Lessons in Leadership and Loving Yourself. And so that's where the hearts come from, right? It's all about loving yourself and being kind to yourself. And so that is why the cover of the book is a letter with a heart on it.
I love that. That's so beautiful. I love making love letters to yourself. Oh my gosh. I shared a few weeks ago a video about why love letters matter, and they matter because you give them to people and it makes a difference, but we don't think about giving them to ourselves. So, is this something you're passionate? What is your passion? Because you do so much. Like, tell us a little bit about your passion and really what drives you to do the work you do every day, because you're a brand strategist and I love that.
Yeah, so my background is actually in corporate fashion. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that later, but that's all I ever wanted to do. That was what I decided I wanted to do when I was in high school. And I was with my dream company, and 2020 came along, right? And so lost my job, and really for the first time struggled with figuring out, who am I without my job? And I think so many of us get trapped in that belief that the most important and special thing about us is our title and who we work for. And learning that about myself was really eye-opening. And so that's why I'm passionate about the whole concept of a personal brand, right? I know it's a super buzzy term, but for me, it has real meaning, right? It's who are we that is not dependent on a title or an organization, but who we really are as a person. And letters to our younger selves is the theme of the book. And I think that's so important, right? Because with age and experience comes wisdom. And so what are the things that we wish we had known earlier on? And what are the lessons that we can share with others and with the next generation?
Oh, that's so perfect because this season's the power of small. I don't know. It just seems so perfectly aligned because we know, right, Melissa, that it's those small moments that can make such a big difference. Do you think about like one moment? Has there been one moment, maybe a small but mighty moment like Widget in your journey that kind of changed everything?
Yeah, there's been a lot. I think so. First of all, one of my personal mantras is small wins add up to big wins, right? So I just love this whole season and this whole year and this whole topic that you're speaking about because it really speaks to my heart. I think so many people always think about the big win, but those small wins are really important. And so it's funny, you might find it interesting. One that immediately comes to mind is a podcast that I was on. And it was the second or third podcast I'd ever been a guest on, and the host and I really hit it off. And she ended up becoming a business partner, a mentor, someone who saw opportunity and opportunity is not the right, but just saw something in me that I didn't yet see in myself. Potential. That's the word I was looking for. Saw potential in me and skills that I had that I was still kind of nervous about really, going deeper on. And she changed my life in many ways, and all came from a conversation.
Wow. I mean, doesn't happen very often. That is incredible. And like, look, you just took a chance and did that, and it made a big difference for you. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I know that last week on my podcast, I had Taylor, and Taylor Vandenstoven is actually somebody in the transportation industry, and she's someone that makes a really big impact. And she wanted to ask you this question when she got to know you and she researched you. She wanted to ask you, what is something you would have told yourself earlier in your career that would have been positive for you to hear?
I mean, how perfect of a question is that? I love it. So I did an exercise once in a women's leadership cohort, and the prompt was, if you were to write your memoir, what would the title be? And so mine was, It All Worked Out in the End. And that's really what I would want my younger self to know, right? It will all be okay, and you don't have to have all the answers, right? I think there's so much pressure on us, especially early on, to know exactly what we want to do and what we want to be when we grow up. And we think we have to have this perfect plan. And I would tell my younger self, it's okay to try different things. And the first job that you have out of school, that might be what you love doing forever, and it might not be. And that's really okay. This is a time to figure out what really lights you up and excites you and makes you happy. So you don't have to have it all figured out.
Right. I think that's awesome advice. I mean, honestly, I was asked just a little bit ago to what would I have told my 20-year-old self, and it's exactly that. I think about you living in the moment changes everything, being present and giving yourself, like you said, that love letter. Oh my gosh, like I love that. I think everyone tonight should write themselves a love letter and put it in their mirror. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
I love that.
You should do that. I have one in my mirror that says no limits, because I think a lot of times we put limits on ourselves and we hold ourselves back. And have you found that? Like, has there been a time in your life, like maybe you've put a limit on yourself, or there's been a hurdle that maybe stood between you and your passion that you have?
Oh my God, absolutely. I think we all deal with self-doubt, right? We all deal with that kind of voice in our heads that says, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, or you're not capable of doing this, or you don't have the qualifications to do that. And, I pivoted twice, right? So first I pivoted from a corporate fashion career to an entrepreneurial fashion career where I was consulting. And that was really scary for me. I had never thought of myself as an entrepreneur. I never thought of myself as having my own business. Wow. And that was a huge mindset shift for me. And there was a lot of self-doubt of, is this really the right path? Am I making a mistake? Am I giving up that sort of corporate security, which, guess what? It's still not really that secure, right? I think we all know that. But it was definitely a mindset shift that I had to make. And then for sure, deciding to lean in 100% on the work that I do now. I knew that I loved it. I knew that it made me really happy, and that when I could help someone, it made me really happy. But that was super scary, right? I'm in my 50s, right? To make a complete shift like that at a little bit of an older age, I really had to kind of get out of my own head.
Those are I call them shadow statements, because they hold us back.
Yep.
It's only us that holds us back in that way. And to recognize that is so beautiful that you did that, Melissa, that you like recognize those statements and they help you can then reposition them to help you move forward. What do you think inspired you to do that? Like, what inspires you despite the self-doubt or despite what's holding you back to continue to move progress, even though it might be slow and small, to make progress forward?
People, just always people, right? The community on LinkedIn is like no other, and I say that as someone who was a complete social media novice. I've never had Facebook. I still don't. I joined LinkedIn. I went back and looked. I joined LinkedIn in March of 2008. And the first time that I did anything on the platform was in 2020 when I lost my job and realized that I was going to have to do something different. And the community and the support that I found there were just off the charts. And so every time that I sort of felt like, is this really the right thing to be doing? Can I really do this? Or, had those sort of limiting beliefs, I would get a comment on a post that was really encouraging, or someone would send me a DM and say, I read your story and I relate completely and it really inspires me. Or I would work with a client and they would give me really exciting news and tell me how something we had worked on together had really helped them, right? So all of those little things, going back to the little things, right? The small wins, the small things that move us forward. It was always about people and community for me.
Wow. That's the strongest interaction mode. I've been speaking it all day to people. Like people say, we have to do something. We got to make change in this world. It just seems like it's such a big thing that we have to overcome. And, it's about, like you said, it's about community and lifting each other up in these small ways. And everyone has a role in that. And I just think it's awesome. And like you said, just like being present with people in your community, whether it's on LinkedIn or in your family, right? Or with the neighbor or with the grocery store, at the grocery store with the checkout person. These small moments matter and can make you feel better, and they make other people feel better. What have you done like on a daily basis, like these small moments to help you stay happy and curious and engaged? Like, because I have people listening that have said to me, Melissa, like, I'm depressed. Like, I don't know, they're kind of silent. They're not telling people, and they're in the room, but they're not present, and they don't know how to be happy. They don't have these small moments. So maybe you can share something for them to help them continue to move forward.
Look for those small moments, right? Look for the people who will lift you up. I'm really fortunate, right? I live in New York City. It's
wow.
It's a 24/7 opportunity to connect, right? And that could be good and it could be overwhelming, but I have so much here. It's a walker city, right? You can walk anywhere. And so
it's
for
cold,
me,
though. You need a coat.
Freezing. Oh, you need a coat and scarf.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is freezing. But I really make an effort to go outside every day because I do think that that's important. Especially because I work from home most of the time, right? I have some client interaction that's in person, but most of it is online. And so it's really important for me to get up, leave my apartment, go outside, go for a walk. I try to go out for coffee or lunch or a mocktail these days, or something small where I can interact with people that I know. I think we're more starved for human connection than ever, right? Like we live in this age of so much connectivity where we can talk to anyone at any time over the phone, over text, over Zoom. But there's nothing like those in-person moments. And can I share a story?
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
It'll take a minute, so I apologize, but I talked about it on LinkedIn, and the amount of interaction that post got and the amount of people who talked about how it really lifted them up. I was a little hesitant to even post it, right? Because I was like, it's going to be one of those, is this Facebook kind of moments? But I was going to see a client where I do work with in person. I went to tap my Omni card, which is like the new Metro card, the new payment method, and I got an error message. Didn't work. Tried it again, didn't work. Moved over to the next turnstile, didn't work. The train's already here. People are coming the other way. The gentleman next to me at the turnstile next to me took his credit card and tapped it on my reader so that I could go through. But so that in itself, I was like, what just happened? This stranger just paid for my train fare. But somebody was coming through the turnstile at that exact moment. So it didn't work. I couldn't go through. He was already on the other side. He could have run and made the train, and instead he stopped, turned around, and physically handed me his credit card.
Wow.
So that I could pay for myself. And I said, this is the most unbelievable thing. Like, New York has this reputation, right, of like, we're not friendly or strangers.
True.
That someone would take that time to do that for me. I was so uplifted all day. And I said, I don't have cash. Can I Venmo you? And he said, it's $3. Don't worry about it. Have a blessed day,
Wow. It makes a difference. I love that. Shout out to that man. If we know him, I want to send him a widget. I love that. I want to hug him,
I do too.
So it's a thing. It's like the compassion and empathy and all of that makes a difference. It's such a beautiful story. I'm so glad you said that.
So I would say if you're feeling sad, because we all have those moments, right? Do something kind for someone. You might
buy him a coffee.
Yeah.
Do it. Like Justin Clark, he and his wife Jamie own the Honeybee Foundation, and his brother had passed away. And one thing that his brother always did, and he does in his honor on Mother's Day, they buy coffee. And we've done it at our company. We buy coffee because he used to buy coffee for people in line. And somebody was like, I don't know who did that. And they found out it was his brother. He would go there just on random days and just randomly buy people coffee. And the thing is, like, you go in the grocery store and you buy the person behind you, and it's not about you. They don't have to know. You just, do it. And it's like, and it's not even about that. It's like, you're right. Like just opening the door for some. I love that advice.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. So next week on my podcast, I have someone who, oh my gosh, he's been running, I don't want to speak, but like marathons. I mean, he is in the trucking industry. It's one of the reasons I started my podcast, because there is such loneliness, depression, in this industry. And I really want to uplift people. So he's coming on my podcast because he's really focused on his physical health and his mental health. So what do you think we should ask Michael Lombard next week?
Yeah. So I did a little research on him as well. And he's had the most fascinating journey, right? From, the trucking industry to being a fitness coach and being, I think I read, an Ironman athlete, right?
Yeah.
So the question I would ask him is, well, it's two parts. What is one of the biggest issues around health and wellness that you see the freight industry really struggling with? And then, in sort of the theme of our conversation and your overall theme right now, what's been that one mindset shift that you've been able to teach in that field that has really made the biggest difference?
I love that. I think that question is so imperative for anyone that's listening today in your own industries. It's, thinking about how we help each other move forward in the time that we're in. And that suggestion that you just gave, that's going to be my tip for my website for the upcoming week, because I love it. It's like just taking the moment to look around and seeing who needs help, reaching out your hand and saying, I'm here. I see you. I was on a call last week, and I could tell that there was someone on that call that wasn't their normal self. And, afterwards I sent an email and I just said, I see you, I mean, it's just like one of those things. It's, when somebody is off, you can tell it just by the look or not look in their face, even if you know them or don't know them. It's like, we can help each other, in every moment that we have in this world. And it'll help and at the end of the day, it's going to make us feel better. I love it. I'm so lucky to have met you through LinkedIn. And I'm so happy that you are on my podcast today. Give us some lasting advice for that person or anyone that may be listening that needs to hear this message today to help them move. This is Friday Junior, but move into the weekend with positivity.
Okay, that made my day. My daughter used to always refer to Thursday as Friday Junior, so it always had a very special place in my heart.
I love that.
My big piece of advice is exactly how we started out this conversation. It's the little things that really add up, that really move the needle, that really can shift your heart easily. So don't think that you have to do something huge today. Sometimes the win is just you got up out of bed, you took a shower, and you had your day. That's a win. And so just focus on the wins, focus on the small things, and do something kind for somebody because it lifts their spirits and it lifts yours too. It really
I
does.
love that. I love that. Okay, Melissa, I'm going to post all your stuff under the post, but where can people find you and learn more about you? What's the best method? And tell us your website, your books, all of the good stuff.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So no surprise, the best place to find me is LinkedIn. Please connect with me. I love speaking with people and connecting there. I do have a website. It's melissabethcohen.com. And I have 2 books that I've co-authored. They're very different from one another. Last year's was called Your Career Resilience Blueprint. It's all about building a resilient career, especially, in the days that we have right now. And then the one we spoke about is Letters to Lily, which is Lessons in Leadership and Loving Yourself.
I love that. Thank you so much, Melissa. Have a great rest of the week.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Well, everyone, you heard it. It's the small things that matter. So until next time, be kind and be well and do the small things that make you feel better. I can't wait to see you next time. And if you're liking my show, you have to follow and you have to like and share it because this year is the power of small. And just that small little moment and like may help someone get the help they need to help themselves move forward. So until next time, we'll see you.